In May 2015, a small, unmarked envelope arrived at the office of Gadget ZZ, a tech blog in Sweden. Inside was a single silver DVD. No return address, no letter of explanation, only a string of alphanumeric characters scrawled on the disc in black permanent marker. When the editor pushed that disc into his computer, he didn't find a software demo or a leaked movie. Instead, he stared into the hollow eyes of a plague doctor standing in a crumbling, sun-bleached room. What followed was one of the most complex, disturbing, and coordinated internet mysteries in history. A video filled with hidden images of human suffering, GPS coordinates of the White House, and a sonic frequency that hid a terrifying message in plain sight. Tonight, we step into the ruins. Welcome to the Midnight Archive. The video, known by the title 11B-X-1371, didn't just go viral, it ignited a global forensic investigation. At first glance, it looks like a low-budget horror student film. A figure dressed in the traditional 17th century garb of a plague doctor stands in a derelict building. They hold out a hand, a light blinking in the palm. The audio is a relentless, jarring screech of industrial noise. But as the internet's most seasoned code breakers from Reddit and 4chan began to peel back the layers, the student film theory began to dissolve. Hidden within the video's frames were flashes of Morse code, binary strings, and, most disturbingly, single-frame images that appeared to be crime scenes. When the audio was run through a spectrogram, a tool that visualizes sound waves, it revealed images that looked like something out of a nightmare. The mystery wasn't just what was in the video, but why it was sent. Was it a threat? A recruitment tool for a cult? Or, as some feared in the height of 2015, a digital precursor to a real-world biological attack? To understand the panic this video caused, we have to look at how it surfaced. Johnny Krabichler, the editor of Gadget ZZ, stated that the disc was mailed from Poland. However, further digging revealed the video had been uploaded to YouTube months earlier, in late 2014, by a user named AETBX. When questioned, AETBX claimed he didn't create the video. He alleged he found a physical disc left on a park bench in Spain. This physical discovery added a layer of tangible dread. This wasn't just a file uploaded to a server from the safety of a bedroom. It was a physical object being moved across international borders. The setting of the video was eventually identified as the Zofiówka Sanatorium in Otwock, Poland. This isn't just any abandoned building. Zofiówka has a dark, documented history. During the Nazi occupation of Poland in 1942, the sanatorium was part of the Action T4 program, the forced euthanasia of psychiatric patients. Hundreds of people were killed there. To choose this specific location for a video featuring a plague doctor, a symbol of mass death and contagion, was a calculated move designed to evoke the maximum amount of psychological unease. Let's look at the event of the video itself. It is exactly 2 minutes long. Throughout the footage, the figure makes various gestures. If you watch closely, their hand movements aren't random. They are signaling in American Sign Language and Morse code. The messages discovered were chilling. One string of Morse code translated to Red Lives 40. Another set of coordinates pointed directly to the north wing of the White House. But the most famous and unsettling discovery came from the audio. When researchers converted the audio track into a visual spectrogram, they found embedded images. One was a crude, skull-like face. Another was a series of encoded messages that read, "You are already dead." Most disturbing were the images that appeared to show a woman being tortured or tied up. For weeks, the internet was convinced they were watching the digital manifesto of a serial killer. People began cross-referencing these frames with missing persons databases, fearing that the plague doctor was revealing his victims through high-level encryption. Even the title, 11B-X-1371, was a puzzle. When converted from hexadecimal to decimal, it provided more cryptic clues that led investigators down a rabbit hole of biological warfare references, specifically mentioning the stigma and the Great Pestilence. As the investigation peaked, the internet did what it does best. It crowdsourced the truth. Users on Reddit formed a dedicated subreddit to track every frame. They discovered that the murder images hidden in the spectrogram were actually taken from a German horror film called Slasher and various medical stock photos. This provided a small sigh of relief. It appeared no one was being actively murdered on screen. However, the question remained: who had the technical skill to embed steganography, Morse code, and spectrogram imagery so seamlessly? Investigators looked into the blinking light in the doctor's hand. It was revealed to be a complex sequence of binary. When translated, it formed the phrase, "Kill the president." At this point, the mystery moved beyond internet curiosity. There were reports that international intelligence agencies were aware of the video due to the specific threats against the U.S. executive branch. Then, a breakthrough. A user on Twitter began claiming responsibility. His name? Parker Warner Wright. Wright claimed he was an American citizen living in Poland. To prove he was the creator, he challenged the internet to find a second video. He eventually released 11B-X-1369, a sequel filmed in the same sanatorium, but with even higher production values and more complex codes. Despite Parker Warner Wright's claim of artistic expression, theories continue to swirl around the true intent of 11B-X-1371. Theory 1. The ARG, Alternate Reality Game. Many believed this was a promotional stunt for a movie or a video game, similar to the Cloverfield or Halo marketing campaigns. However, no product was ever sold. No movie was ever released. If it was an ARG, it was an ARG for no one, a game with no prize. Theory 2. The terrorist threat. Because of the GPS coordinates for the White House and the binary code saying, "Kill the president," some investigators remain unsure if Wright was working alone. They theorized the video was a canary, a test to see how quickly encrypted data could be decoded by the public and how law enforcement would react to a digital threat. Theory 3. The Schizoid Manifesto. Some psychological experts who viewed the footage suggested it was a high-functioning manifestation of someone obsessed with social collapse. The choice of the plague doctor and the Zofiovka sanatorium suggests a deep-seated fixation on the cleansing of society through death. The Parker Warner Wright explanation. Wright himself has stated in rare interviews that the video was a work of art intended to show the instability of the modern world. He claimed the threats weren't literal, but symbolic. Yet, his refusal to fully explain the meaning behind specific codes like Red Lives 40 leaves many unsatisfied. 11BX1371 remains a landmark in the history of the dark web and internet mysteries. It proved that in the digital age, a single silver disk could trigger a global panic. Is it just art? Or is it a warning? Parker Warner Wright once said, "I see my work as a mirror. If you see something scary in it, it's because you brought that fear with you. But when a mirror shows you images of torture and coordinates for a world leader's home, it's hard not to wonder what or who is standing behind you while you look." The Zofiovka sanatorium still stands in Poland, slowly decaying. The plague doctor may have hung up the mask, but the codes he left behind still linger in the archives of the internet, waiting for someone new to find a reason to be afraid. If you found a disc in a park tomorrow, would you have the courage to play it? Thanks for watching. If you want to see more files from the archive, subscribe and hit the bell. Stay curious. Stay safe.